We're tracking breaking news this afternoon out of Hillsborough Village. The pipes have burst at the Ronald McDonald house.
The water continues to drop at this hour.
Where am I going to go? Because I live so far away.
We're here in room 11. Unfortunately, this is where all of our disaster started. We had a sprinkler head in our attic that burst. When we heard the pipe burst, we knew what it was, and all of a sudden our fire alarm went off. We have a 3-story house, and we have a second floor, first floor, and a basement. And so we heard it, and so we came running upstairs. We came in the room and saw it spewing out of the ceiling, and it was spewing out of every hole or possible place in the ceiling, from the light fixtures to the heating vents where the sprinkler heads are. It was just raining all in these rooms. We couldn't catch the water fast enough. We were pretty much wading through the water, and when we were able to get the water turned off, which was fabulous, and we did it in a very quick fashion, unfortunately there was about 6 or 8 inches of water in our attic, and it had nowhere to go but down. And so it rained down all through the ceilings and down through the floors. At 125 gallons a minute, the way that the water flows, it's hard to save just about everything. We were able to save all the belongings of all the families that stayed with us, and unfortunately it displaced 17 families that were staying in our house. All of our families were already in a crisis, and unfortunately we had to add to their crisis, and that's a terrible thing to have to do. We would love to be able to have families to continue to stay here. It's just impossible, because for their safety and that of their other family members, we just can't have them stay here. So we had to close one whole wing of our house.
There were a lot of tearful phone calls trying to scramble and find some place to stay last night. I think some families were able to stay with their child in the hospital, but their support had to go back to their home. And my first instinct was to let somebody else just sleep in my bed so they didn't have to go home, because we're all here for a reason. And some people that were here the first time that I was here have also returned because their child is also sick. And I know that they live 6 hours away, and they had to leave yesterday. It was heartbreaking.
We called a catastrophe team that we've worked with in the past, and they were great about getting out here within about an hour and bringing fans to start drying things out, and all the equipment that they have that could help us get things, back to as close to normal as we could, as quick as we could.
It was pretty loud here for about a week and a half. We had a lot of wind blowers and to try to dry us out as much as possible. And then we were able to get our house cleaned up, and they were able to get out all the wet and things before any kind of mold or anything like that set in. The amount that we'll get from our insurance and the amount that it actually costs to rebuild our house are probably two totally separate numbers. We're looking to our community for help and to make sure that we are able to pay off all the debt from the rebuilding of our house. This was not a budgeted item. This was not something we were planning on. So it's an added thing that we're looking for. Everything has to be replaced, because the water that came through our sprinklers is dirty water. It's not clean stuff that comes out of your faucet, and it's very dirty, it's black, and it's there to be able to put out a fire. Unfortunately, that gets on everything and it ruins it pretty quickly. We've looked to our community to help to underwrite the cost of new furniture in our house for these bedrooms that were absolutely, totally devastated. Well, we're having to buy new mattresses, new box springs, new bedside tables, new dressers, new headboards. Everything has to be new and clean in our house. We have to have new carpet and new padding, new chairs to sit in the bedroom. Everything has to be new. We have a lot of kids and families that come and stay with us that have compromised immune systems, and those kids have to be in a safe, clean environment.